All right, check, radio check. Got a last minute email that just came in. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Just before we get started, would somebody mind putting into chat that you can hear me, that you can see me? We don't have any difficulties. I want to make sure. All right. So it looks like David, thank you, and Kate, thank you. So without further ado, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Some of you have had a chance to speak to, some of you I have not, but welcome back. I've done this sort of New Year's resolution um, topic at the beginning of the year in the past, and I thought I would change it up a little bit. I wanted to speak, and it's really easy, I think, to give advice versus to actually walk the walk. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about, some things that have influenced me, and I think in the last few years to help me to be more attentive to goals, to New Year's resolutions. I was reading an article, and it's a lot of you're going to see a lot of talking heads, news channels speaking about goals and what to do and how to do it. And I mean, the list is endless, right? I mean, for me to sit here and presume that I know what you should do or have any insight, I think is presumptuous. So I really wanted to take a position, sort of, some things that have influenced me, and the first is, Lao Tzu is a known philosopher from China. And a lot of you may know that I practice and have practiced and studied martial arts for a long time. I think I'm, in excess of 50 years of studying it ever since I back in the day, they had bookmobiles that would come into the parking lot, and I'd take some of my allowance money and I would buy books. And I remember I got picked on a lot as a kid. And so I came across this book on karate, and it was in black and white, and and it showed you, okay, this is how you step and what you do. And I really didn't understand it, but that started me on my path. And I have since, I think, have become a true admirer of peace and balance. And that's why you see the symbol of yin and yang there. And it's just that when I was younger, I tended to be very emotional and very easily triggered. And now I tend to not take life so seriously. I tend to really appreciate the little things that sometimes we can take for granted. I mean, if you want to get depressed, watch the news. You want to have anxiety, just listen to the radio, right? And some of the rhetoric that goes on, it's alarming. But Lao Tzu, he's quoted as saying, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And it sounds so profound, but in my life, this is how I approach things. I put my head down, and I think that probably started to develop this skill set in the military. I put my head down and I do the next right thing. And that's all I wanted to share with you, because I wanted to share with you a little insight. Some of you, back when I had my office, may remember I, I weighed 270 pounds. And there's a picture on the left side of me, of the screen, when I thought I was going to outsmart my partners. They said, hey, one of my partners is from Colorado. He's like a mountain goat. He lives up in a higher elevation, runs all over the mountains, and is jumping around, and he's never winded. And my other partner's from Wisconsin and was training to go hunting in Alaska. And when they said, hey, we're going to be in Utah doing a training, and after we're done, we're going to go to Mount Olympus, and we're going to go hiking. And I invited myself. And they said, sure, you can come. And they chuckled just like that. And I was like, all right, I'm going to show these guys. I trained for 30 days before I went out to Utah, and I was walking 12 miles a day, walking, right, around my whole neighborhood here, right? I was on the back pass. Man, I got out to Utah. I made it about 100 yards up this incline, and I was gassed. It took me 8 hours, about 5 hours to get up and about 3 hours to get down. I ran out of water. I lost my phone. And I swear, I tell people, I think I almost had to be medevaced off the mountain. It was at that point in time, I realized that I was not built for hiking. I don't want to go hiking. That's when I started to gravitate back towards the water and going scuba diving because at least I could float around. Now, that obscene photo to the right, my wife just found over the holiday. She goes, I guess I sent this to her. We had gone to a local country farm nearby, and they had something called trifecta pie. And so I made this video, trifecta pie, trifecta pie. And I was dancing around and I sent it to her because she must have been up in the Poconos and she is in tears. But my point is, I don't weigh 270 pounds anymore. When COVID hit, and I started just realizing that I was overweight. I would get out of breath bending over to tie my shoes. And I was out doing some yard work, and I think I moved 24 tons of river rock by hand, and I think I almost gave myself a stroke. And what I started to realize is that, 56, 57 years old, I was not, in my mind, I was 20, but physically I was deteriorating. And somebody had hired a coach and they give me some suggestions, and I started to integrate some of these concepts into my life: faith, family, fitness, and finance. And, as I still every morning, I have a routine now that has helped me. I've dropped 50 pounds. I'm now at 220 and have been for 2 years now. Took me a lot of work, right? I got a Peloton. I was down there every day and I would do these things. And so I had stopped reading and all these things that you see here. And I was like, man, what happened to that guy of old that I used to want to be and that I strived to be? And then again, you've heard me on this call share about people and advisors that I've lost, friends and family through COVID and just life happening. And I got kids. And my son's on this call. I got an older daughter. I got two grandkids, and now I got a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, and I want to be around for a while. I don't want to rush to my grave. So I started to change some things, but these four F's have helped me. So every day when I meditate, I think about my faith, my family, my fitness, and my finance, right? And then, so I created healthy habits and staying with them. This was the first adjustment I started to make was, by by being aware and conscientious of drinking 1 gallon a day. And again, I've heard some now where people are getting intoxicated or, and I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but I was drinking a gallon of water. I'm not telling you that's the correct amount. What I do know happened though, by me ingesting that much water, A, I had to go to the bathroom a lot. B, I wasn't hungry all the time. And C, I had an exorbitant amount of energy. I don't know where it came from, but I didn't want to lose it. And so that was a key component every day. And I would drink 4 of these cups. And I still to this day, my blue cups, is my gallon of water. I don't drink quite a gallon now. I'm down to about a half gallon. But it's one of the first things I do is hydrate when I wake up, cleanse my system. I also started meditation, and it says mediation there, so typo, I apologize. But one of the things that, I had never meditated before. I thought I did. I thought I knew how to do it. And because I'm a martial artist, one of the things that, the last couple of years, you may have heard me talk about, my Sifu, Wing Chun. I'm just really into it. I love it. I train my girls. I believe in, It's a really, really scientific art. And it's not that one art is better than the other, but this one was something where I had the time, I had the ability, and I had the desire, and I plugged in. And one of the things that as a martial artist, I had studied Ishinryu karate for years, and I hold the belt in Ishinryu, and that's a Japanese base and very yang, very hard. And I started working out with Sifu, and one of the first things he said is, put your tongue, have it touch the palate, the top of your mouth, to connect your meridians. I'm not going to get into all the detail, but what that is when you do that and you're moving with your mouth closed, it forces you to breathe through your nose. I became more efficient. I learned how to breathe. So I now have shared that with my children on how to breathe when we're working out. But I also use it when I'm meditating. I've started to learn a little bit about Qigong. I'm very at its rudimentary stages, but I probably know more than most. And just being centered. So this meditation that I would do every morning, I would sit there, I would close my eyes. And like every single person I've spoken to that's ever started to meditate, has monkey brain. And I just read something the other day that if you want to control the monkey in your brain, you have a wisdom mind and you have an emotional mind. And it's the emotional mind that's the monkey. And you have to take that ape and you have to tie it to a post and let it know that it's going to be safe. Now that got a little bit deeper than I wanted to, but basically my point is being able to, when thoughts come into your mind as you're trying to meditate and you're trying not to think about anything, how do you turn around and start thinking about, oh yeah, I got that bill tomorrow, and and I got a meeting at 3 o'clock, and oh my God, last night, man, do you believe that game that happened? And oh my God, I almost had an accident on the way home. And these thoughts, they creep into our mind while we're trying to be calm. We're trying to think about our breathing, being centered, being relaxed, all these things, but this monkey's running around this brain. So it has helped me by putting the tongue to the roof of my mouth, slowing my breathing down. And every time a thought comes in to my mind, you acknowledge it. Hey, thanks for showing up, and let it go. I think of a river. I think that I'm trying to stay right here in the moment. What's already downriver, I'm never going to get it back. And what's up the river hasn't gotten here yet, but I got to focus on now. And another little tip I've gotten is, if you're having this struggle with trying to maintain your meditation, think of the tip of your nose. Just every time it starts to drift, you have a thought, bring your focus back to the tip of your nose. And these little things help us to let the monkey brain settle down, but we all have it. So if you've tried it before, it hasn't worked for you, and you want some idea, it's worked for me. But I've started these other things that to me didn't help me necessarily lose the weight. It was the increasing my metabolism. So things like walking, biking, hiking, light weights. I'm not training for the MMA. I don't need to go. I'm not bouncing. I don't need muscles, on top of muscles. And martial arts, most schools, you pay a subscription, you go there once a week, and you think, okay, I got this belt. I train like I'm a white belt, and I don't tell anybody what color sash I have. And Tai Chi is an area I am just now. That's an internal art, and not so much physical, but spiritual. And I really enjoy it. But these are little things that we can do. Now, I'm fortunate enough, I started swimming and I really enjoy that. It helps me as part of my routine, a little bit of just getting wet, and then I meditate, and just my routine. But I jump into my pool until about November. I think November 17th was my last day this year. 46, 47 degrees. Whoa, that'll get your blood going. And it's not just get in and get out, and it's not quite a polar bear plunge, but for me, it really does help me. I feel like very, very like, wow, today, now let's go. So it helps to improve alertness, reduce pain, decrease inflammation. And I can tell you, as I was losing the weight, as I was training jujitsu, boxing, kung fu, all the stuff that I was doing every day, I'm in agony. My body was hurt. I will not kid you. It's been a journey. but I feel better now. I feel now I'm like, people, and all I can say is that people are like, wow, man, you look great. And I'm like, well, thank you. But you saw those pictures 3 years ago. I didn't. I would get home at 10, 11 o'clock at night, stopping at Burger King on the way home. And I used to have an expression. I'd stop and get emergency Whoppers because I needed them. you know, and listen, I'm just like you guys. And if losing weight is something that isn't a priority you want to do, and it's the mindset, we all get trapped in that sand trap. Journaling, I think is really helpful to me to write down and stay centered, stay focused. What do I got to do? What am I working on? And it allows me to stay in today, but at a flip of a page or two without really going back and, and too deep, but I keep notes and saying, oh, I got that. I got to make sure I do that or do this today or whatever. And then the thing that really I find a lot of joy, I read really weird, right? I don't read one book and go, I have textbooks and industry specific material, and obviously, that's a challenge, right? It's usually deep and technical, and last year, got my couple certifications, and I'm constantly studying. But when it comes to pleasure reading, I like to read some things, but I'll read just 1 or 2 pages from, I got probably 30 books downstairs where I'm going through 1 or 2 pages. And it just brings it to the top of mind, thinking about it, and help me to stay focused. And again, why am I sharing all this? Well, it's just to help share with you that if you have goals, if you have aspirations, far be it from me to sit here and tell you what to do. I have always prided myself by trying to lead by example. These are things that have worked for me. And if by sharing some things that have worked for me, they can help you, then mission accomplished. So, obviously things like the YMCA, right? Not everybody has access to a pool, right? Having some type of place to go to, and there's a book called Atomic Habits, and creating good habits. And I listen to it. I listen to a lot of audiobooks when I have windshield time. And that book will just talk about if you want to make sure that you're going, put your shoes by the door, by the foot of your bed, or whatever, like little triggers that help you to create positive habits to accomplish your goals. So these are just wanted to share that. This is Keith Mazza, and again, this is not a commercial for him, but he does have something that I've never seen. There's very few people that in my career, and like I said, 50 years, and I've seen a lot of martial artists. And again, it's not one style is better than the other, but I can count on one hand the number of businesses that are actually true businesses. A lot of time they're part-time. I'll go down the highway or down a road and I'll look at, oh, there's a Taekwondo store, there's a MMA, but the lights are out. It's dark, right? When you're a business owner, it's very, very tough. And Keith down in Mount Laurel has done two things. Not only does he have a great staff, does he have, family running it, and he was kind enough to give me a key early on. Can go there anytime. However, I got friends and family that are in other states that have taken advantage of something that he offers called Sambo. And basically it's just some instruction, because I know how, you're like, why are we doing this? And if you can't explain what a move is or why you're doing it, it's probably not going to be in your bag of or in your arsenal should you really need it. And I think today, with everything that's going on, the more and more I learn how to defend myself and I teach my girls, the less I worry about it. But my girls, when we're done with today, we'll go down in 15, 20 minutes. I will give them things, and I'm like, I just want to make sure I'm not always going to be here. That if somebody means them harm, that they have in their toolbox things that will work, that are effective, that are automatic, that they don't have to think about. And going and plugging into this type, somebody asked me, well, what's Wing Chun? And I'll be honest with you, Wing Chun, first of all, that's the style that Bruce Lee learned under Ip Man, and Ip Man's senior student to Bruce Lee was William Chung, and Keith Mazza is the direct lineage too. So I feel very blessed to have found this, and it's here in New Jersey. William Chung is over in Australia. But that being said, if you said to me, what's Wing Chun? Wing Chun is dirty ass street fighting. It's survival. This was created and founded in the streets of China and Hong Kong. And it's been tested against styles, other kung fu's. And it's not that, hey, listen, it's not, it just works. But there is an element of science to it, which is what fascinates me about it. But the more and more I investigate it, the more I'm like, oh, this is so cool. But years now, I've been studying this stuff and I dissect it and I go, man, that's pretty cool. So when I learn something cool and I come by, I will get the eye rolls from my girls. Dad. But all of a sudden, I'll go and do something. And like the other day, my daughter hit me. I'm like, pretty good, but watch your hand. You might hurt it. I've been doing iron body. So, health, Lifetime Fitness, right? These are great facilities, right? There's one here in Mount Laurel. I drive by. This is right next to Seafood School. The, enormous facilities, and they really do. It's not just a gym. It's an absolute. It's an aquatic center, healthy restaurants, all in one. Bridgewater's only athletic country club defies expectations with luxurious indoor and outdoor pools, sunlight studios, 112,000 stunning square feet. I've not been to the Bridgewater one, but Caitlin found this and I thought that was perfect. So again, I'm just sharing with you, if there are things and aspirations to make 2024 your best year, these are things that you can do and think of. Pickleball. I don't play pickleball. I know this. The little bit of time I've tried to do some tennis, and I was out of weight. I was gassed. I thought I was in good shape, but I had a little bit of spare tire around the belly. And every time I get on the court, man, I'm like, ooh, my knees are. But I hear all great things about pickleball. So again, it's something where just trying something new. If you want to do it, and this is the last thing I want to leave you with. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't, like I said, it's taken me now 2 or 3 years to get to my weight, but it was only, like I said, I made lemonade out of lemons with COVID. And like I said, I felt like I was really running to an early grave and I wanted to start getting a little better. So just whatever it is, it's that Nike commercial, just do it. 5 minutes. That's what I ask the girls to do. Just when they're training every day, just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes of doing something, whatever it is. I don't care if it's reading, knitting, gardening, cooking, right? Anything that you want to do that is going to help you to feel better so that when life is happening, that you feel more grounded in enjoyment. That's what it's about. So hopefully you don't feel lectured to. That was not my goal. Again, I want to wish all of you a happy new year. I'm a phone call away, email away. If I can help you in any way, let me know. And here's our disclaimers and our music.